Hey guys, welcome to Divine Glory Ministry. I just want to thank you guys for coming in. And today we're going to be talking about something that's going to be very, very, very special. And we're going to be talking about how to identify a toxic culture. So as we're just going to start, I want you to just take time to invite people that you love, that would be beneficial for them. I just did it just now. And just letting you guys know, you can also watch us on YouTube as well, on Divine Glory Ministry. So take time, go and check it out on YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And today we have the guy himself again here with us, Malesh,
the guy himself.
Yeah, the guy himself.
I didn't know it was that special, but I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. I look forward to it,
Yeah. So yeah, how's everything? How's your week today? It's been.
My week is fine, but I don't think we care about my week.
Hey, we do. Everyone wants to know, man. But yeah, and also we have Wills on the background. You'll hear him as well. And yeah, let's go. And we also have Dom that's going to be joining us soon, and another Pastor Anwar is going to be joining us soon as well. So it's going to be a really good conversation, yeah. And I'll pass it on to the man himself, Malesh, to get us started.
So I think the goal today is really to talk about the ways in which we can point out toxic culture.
Yep.
I think from the discussion last week, we understand good culture to be one in which allows people to be good, allows individuals or members of the church to carry out and live the principles that we see Christ wanting us to live out.
Yeah.
So those would be things like, let's say, like mercy, truth, empathy, showing love to people in the church. These are this is what Christ told us to embody. And a good culture is is a culture that encourages its members to act out this goodness. And a bad or toxic culture is one that inhibits members from actually acting out this. So we're going to talk about today how we can kind of point out toxic church culture. And I think from speaking to you just before the podcast, you actually wanted to focus first on leadership. The ways in which let's say different types of leadership and the effect that they might have. Just go into just describe why you think leadership is so important.
Yeah, and just before I answer that question, I just want to let people know that that our heart is not, we're not here to condemn people or whatever. We're trying to give people a language to what experiences that they had. And we want to promote the good culture, and we want to resist these bad traits that we're going to be talking about. And church culture has a big impact in everyone's life, and in some ways we don't know how much it impacts us, but it impacts us so much, and in how we see people, how we talk to people, how we see what's good. Even is through the culture or the church culture that we are part of.
It kind of like it sets like our new norm,
yeah.
The things that we see every day and the things that we consider to be normal. And then obviously if we stay in those situations for long enough, then it becomes part of us as well.
Yeah,
that's part of how we act and see the world.
Yeah, that even when something bad happens for someone else, they're shocked to hear it. But if someone is actually in that culture, they're like, wait, what? Why? Like, yeah, it doesn't make sense to them because they've been in that culture for a very long time. It's so normal to them. And what's worse is when they're in a church, that church or the organization for a very long time, and they haven't seen any other good culture, so there's nothing for them to even know
to
what's
compare.
good. Yeah, to compare what's good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. But hopefully this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
To put words to these things and to put descriptions.
Yeah.
To toxicity. And I mean, it's my belief, anyways, that once the truth is out and once we can have these discussions, then we can start pointing them out, and that's the start to the solution.
Yeah.
But if we're going back to leadership, why do you think leadership is so important in, let's say, deciding or the culture of a church?
Yeah, because leadership is where the base or the heart of the church is.
Mm-hmm.
So how the leaders see things, how what they see that's important, or what they emphasize.
Yeah,
it impacts everything else around that organization or that church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why it's important. And if you want to know the heart of the church, you see the leaders in there, and that's why leadership is something that's very, very important, because if the heart is corrupt, then everything else becomes corrupt.
Yeah,
because everything else flow from the heart. So leadership, that's where it is. It's the heart.
Okay, leadership is with the heart. So it seems like you're saying that the heart of the leader kind of sets the tone for the rest of the organization.
Yeah.
And I guess we speak of kind of culture in terms of two distinctions. Yeah.
Yeah.
The good and the bad.
Yeah.
And we always describe. So I think it seems like we're going to talk about toxic church culture.
Yeah.
In a way that it pushes against certain good cultures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I would say what are kind of the hearts of actually no. Before we go there, just broadly speaking, give me like sweepingly different characteristics or different types of leadership.
Yeah.
Within the church.
Yeah. So today I'm focusing more on the culture or the heart of leadership.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about leadership styles or anything like that.
Okay.
Just know that. Yeah.
I'm jumping it.
Yeah. So know that we're not talking about leadership styles. And leadership style, everyone have somewhat of their own leadership styles or whatever.
Yeah.
But
and you're saying they can be good or bad leadership styles?
Yeah, it could be good or bad.
Okay.
Even the good ones, they can have something inside them that's bad.
Yeah.
Even the bad ones, that they might actually be someone that has good culture. He might have a bad systems, but the good culture overrides the bad culture.
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
We're speaking last week about the difference between tradition and culture.
Yeah.
And we're saying tradition is kind of like, you could say it's how the church does things, but it's kind of like the systematic stuff.
Yeah.
The examples you gave were like what time a service starts.
Yeah.
I don't know the extent to which they do Holy Communion.
Yeah.
Things of that sort. I think contrast that to culture. Culture is more like how the individuals interact with each other.
Yeah.
The heart that they have. Are they showing love to each other and so on?
Yeah.
These things they're a bit more to your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
To your heart. And I think what you're saying here is that it could be the case that you, even if you have good traditions, you might still have bad culture.
Yeah.
And I think we see that clearly in that we have a lot of these denominations, and like none of them are are perfect in their culture. We still see toxicity in all of them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just a separation.
Yeah. And like I would go further down into a place that will make it look even more clear is just like the leadership structure, how churches can have good leadership structure where the pastor, let's say for example, the pastor is the senior and there's no one else but the board beneath him and all this stuff. And then you'll have some church that have a different structure where there's a plural of leaders. So they have like some 5 pastors, for example, that are sharing one thing. But even with, I would say maybe the 5 leaders sharing might be good.
Yeah.
But sometimes there could be toxic traits from those 5 people, and the person that's you might say, oh my God, this might look like a leadership or the celebrity pastor that actually might have good culture as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the systems that makes good or bad, is their heart and how they do things, and that makes it good or bad.
Oh, okay. It's the heart and how they do things.
Yeah.
That make things. I'm reminded. I don't know, but in those situations, do you think it's? Actually, no, you're correct. It's.
Go ahead.
No, because I was going to say that in those situations where you might have plural leaders or more than one leader, to checks and balances, to make sure you can hold leaders accountable to you. You need to be able to do that, and I'm assuming that's one of the ways that we can promote, let's say, good culture. In those situations, if that situation turns bad, I'm assuming to a large extent it would be because although you have more than one leader, practically speaking, there might still just be one leader. Just practically speaking.
Yeah, practically, yeah.
But hey, maybe that's not the case. Maybe all 5 of them are not as good.
Yeah. Go for it.
Go for it.
We've got about 7 leaders.
Yeah.
And all of them have been set up by the senior minister, by the senior pastor that is in place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that mean that they all have the same mindset, the same mentality in doing things? Because it doesn't make any difference, although there is different leaders or many leaders, but they all have the same mindset of the same person that is there. Doesn't that make it toxic?
I don't think it would make it toxic, because what makes it toxic is how they do things, and that's I think that's what we were saying just before. Like, churches can have so many ways of how they would run the leadership structure, and like no matter how you do it, it's gonna work. It can work anyways if you have good culture. So with that 5 pastors, the sets up and all this, but if he puts in place where he can get checked, or those people are not scared to bring corrections and all this, then it's a good culture. But if he puts these 5 people or 7 people, and then they can't tell him anything, they can't correct him, then that's where the bad stuff comes. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's mainly more about what happens, not how many people are there.
Yeah.
Because as long as that they are able to bring their own ideas, their own knowledge into this is what will make it less of a toxic church or a toxic culture. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
but to what extent do you think the structure kind of plays a role in deciding or setting the culture of the church?
What way does it?
Not to what extent? Because
to what extent? Okay.
We understand that they are distinct, the culture and the tradition.
Yeah.
And we understand that you can have bad culture. I mean, you can have good or bad culture.
Yeah.
With good or bad systems and setups and so on.
Yeah.
But I think most people would probably assume that that the structure kind of affects the culture itself as well.
Yeah.
Although we're saying it's not completely one-to-one.
Yeah.
But there should be.
There is an
effect. But to what extent is that effect? Like, how strong is that effect?
I think that's the effects is to do with it somewhat plays a part in resisting when it goes too far. There's check and balance when it goes too far. I don't know if that makes sense.
When what goes too far?
When the bad toxic traits that the leaders has, when it goes too far, then that's where the system that you place kind of now pushes back. So if you do have I would encourage to always have a good systems. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we should want to have. Good system that works, that can actually put some check and balances when decisions are made that are not supposed to be made, and when things go wrong, then this tradition and the system that they place, well, that's where they come and try to play a part, play in parts. But then if the church is going too far on the toxic, well, all they do is just fire everyone else. And we've seen this by Max Hill's church, where he has a really good system, but when it was time for him to get checked on things that went wrong, all he did is just fire those people. So so there's some sort of resistance if there's a good culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. No. It seems like so the systems are there primarily to as like a fail-safe.
Yeah.
In theory, if you have a good system, then when the culture does become toxic and so on, then hopefully the system is able to step in and to inhibit that a little bit.
Yeah.
If it's good.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, but yeah. But let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Something that I wanna
add to it. Let's go for it.
I don't know if you're able to see, but I wanna read this.
Go for it.
Online, and I feel like it's interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe we can also let people have a read.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Just to ask questions around this. So for the listeners that are there that are watching, this is something that I just saw online and found online. I thought it would be good for us to have a look at. So what we say is that no church is immune to becoming toxic.
Yeah.
This is already scary in itself.
Yeah.
It says leaders are the architects of culture, meaning harmful leadership can thrive in any setting, regardless of whether you're a church of 30 or 3,000.
Yeah.
To show some mega churches have developed a reputation for being impersonal and shallow, but so do some small churches as well.
Yeah.
And just like some mega churches or mega church pastors struggle with ego and control, so do small church pastors the same thing. Not to go into the rest. So now, when we talk about this, for example,
yep.
What we just read, does that mean even if it's one pastor leading, let's say, 30 people,
yeah,
that same pastor could also be toxic? This is the question that I'm looking for.
Yeah, 100%. That pastor, just like how you read, like being toxic. If the person has it, or the person has those traits, no matter what kind of system they have, how big or how small, you see it. And not just that, but if in a church, when they have toxic culture, it impacts their members, that they would have toxic culture or toxic traits, even when they talk to unbelievers, believers. Like this thing's actually it's actually serious, where those toxic traits can actually fall and pour out in other part of their life and how they relate to one another. This, if it's toxic and the leaders are toxic, it goes and pours in a lot of areas in their lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the other part of that reading also
Yeah.
speaks of something else. Maybe I should bring it up.
Go for it.
Just
Yeah.
to quickly have a read at that and see what we think of that. He says that the truth is that it's not about the size, it's about prioritizing the mission over personal ambitions and accepting that regardless of how many people attend your church, you're responsible for shaping the culture. So then where do we draw the line of how the person that is in charge is responsible for shaping that culture of that church? Like where do we draw the line and say that, okay, this person is good or this person is bad, based on how they lead the church, whether it's of 30 members or 30,000 members? Where do we draw the line for that?
You want to reframe the question so I understand better? Malesh?
I'll put it up, maybe you can have a read as well.
Yeah, I read through it. Yeah, so go for it.
No, I think I was going to ask you to clarify it a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the way I would look at the culture, the responsibility that the leader has is in being good in themselves.
Yeah.
And it's to the extent that the leader is an embodiment of good culture.
Yeah.
And so they're acting out the principles that we said before of goodness. If the leader is loving, if the leader is caring, is empathetic, and is sacrificing their role for the members, and if the leader has the members instead of the organization in their mind, like to the extent that the leader embodies these things, then it's good.
Yeah.
And I think things beyond that become issues. I think when we talk of toxic leadership, it's a failure of leadership to embody these things.
Yeah.
And then usually, because just by them being leaders, they kind of set the tone for the organization as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. Like I think the church culture rises and fall on the leaders and the pastor. Yeah. That and so where do we draw the line where we can say, oh nah, the pastor has nothing to do with it? I don't know, man. It looks like the pastor has everything to do with how the church culture is made, it's built. Yeah, the pastor sets the tone of how we love each other, how we treat each other, how we talk to each other. The pastor set the tone for that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
what we're reading as well.
He says that the pastor is the one that is responsible for shaping that culture.
Yeah.
So this falls under them.
Yeah.
Which means it's actually a big responsibility then when you think about it.
Yeah.
And this is another question then.
Yeah.
So, do we get to blame church members for how the culture is, or is this mainly on the pastor? Like, can church members have an effect or an impact on how the culture is, or this is entirely on the pastor?
Yeah, so you want to go or you want me to go first?
I mean, I can go first. Mine is very simple. I think, as I said before about how we hold the leadership accountable to the extent of their actions.
Yeah.
I think we can do the same to the members as well. You're accountable for your own actions.
Yeah.
I think we know principles. We try to live a certain way, and we know what we try to know. Anyways, what is good and what is bad.
Yeah.
And our surroundings kind of push us towards certain habits and certain actions and certain ways of doing things.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think we understand that it starts from yourself.
Yeah.
It starts from within, and I don't think it's a good idea to remove to remove the power that you have over your own actions.
Yeah, and I would say like with especially with the culture. The culture itself, it's the power that resists the things that they. So, for example, if they are compassionate, they're very compassionate. Naturally, they'll resist the narcissistic or the outburst of anger and all these things because they're compassionate. So, if they're promoting that kind of culture, it automatically resist something that's bad. But if they are having a bad culture, if they have a lot of outbursts of anger and all these things, they're resisting the compassion. So it's always there's always in the church there's always that too, culture pushing each other. They're resisting each other, and so the pastor sets the tone, but the members somewhat embody the things that they see. But there's times when the person has something that's toxic, and they you can see them trying to resist the good culture that is already in the church. So there's those things that happens as well. But because the pastor sets the tone of the good culture, those things are already resisted. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I think I feel like I hear you bring up terms like what outbursts and narcissistic pastors and or leadership and so on.
Yeah.
We want to get into how to identify.
Let's get into
how to identify toxicity within the church or toxic leadership.
Yeah.
Just give me a rundown. Just a summary before we go into the deeper specifics.
Yeah. So I think things that we're going to be focusing on, like narcissistic, something that everyone somewhat now knows what it means.
Narcissism in the church, eh?
Yeah. We'll go in depth in that, and then like power through fear, that they press their power through fear, and institution creep, or they promote or they want the institution more than the people, and false narrative, which is like lies, culture of lies, and loyalty culture, which they're so focused on you being loyal. They want you to be loyal. You have to be loyal to us, and that's it. That loyalty is above everything else. And then the celebrity culture. Those are the 8 things that I probably. Another thing I would like us to talk about is a church that is driven, leadership driven, which is controversial. Mm-hmm. But I would want us to go on that as well. Those are the 8 things that I think we should get in touch.
Are we gonna explore all these 8 things in detail?
We'll try our best.
We will try our best.
It'd be really good because just listening.
Yeah.
It'd be really good to understand in depth what these things mean.
Yeah.
The last couple of points that you mentioned.
Yeah.
You've mentioned one of them is lying. People building the church on lies.
Yeah.
This is one that we need to maybe address.
Yeah, for sure.
On the pulpit,
yeah.
What you see from outside is not necessarily what's inside the church.
Yep.
And a lot of churches might give that image of we are perfect, but
yeah.
We know that there's no even a single church that is perfect.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to know in depth about this point.
Yeah, and those things we're going to talk about what kind of good culture that they're resisting. So all this narcissistic and all this that we listed, we're going to see what kind of good things that they actually are resisting or fighting against. And just as what we read before, like every church is not immune to bad culture. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's good. You listed off a lot. I had some good ones.
Yeah.
So it seems like you view all these to fall under the umbrella of narcissistic leadership to some extent.
Yeah.
That I guess these are maybe ways in which they manifest themselves within churches. Which do you think is kind of like the most common that you've come across?
I think the most common, believe it or not, narcissistic. Yeah, I think is the most common.
Yeah.
And just to say, like, the honest truth is, narcissistic. Why it's so common? So
just define it first, actually, for people that might not have the as.
Yeah, so it's someone that is that loves the image, love the praise of people, love that they are the center of everything. This is what narcissistic is. It's someone that is so much on themselves. Mm-hmm. And why I see is actually the most one that I see is, just think about this, yeah? Imagine this. Who would want to preach every Sunday? It's someone that's narcissistic. But I'm saying this is because
maybe they're just sharing the word of God.
Yeah. No. They are. But I'm saying why is because, especially in ministry, this narcissistic thing it's a common thing that can actually affect every one person that actually is preaching and who he is up in the stage talking to people, like people are seeing them. They would care so much about the way they are presenting, the image that they're presenting. So I think this is like the most one that is
the most
common. And narcissistic is not like you have it or you don't have it. It's actually a spectrum. Mm-hmm. So it's a spectrum, and actually everyone that preaches or everyone that passes a church falls into one of where in that spectrum.
What about people that are just podcasting?
Yeah, the same, just like us. so yeah, that's me. Yeah, and just for if you're a pastor or you're a leader, just know that this one, it's actually easy to fall in, and you probably have some sort of, in your heart when you look deep down, there's some sort of a little bit, even a little bit of narcissistic traits that we have. Yeah.
You know, what I want to get into, we're defining. I don't want this discussion to be too theoretical.
Yeah.
I want us to really bring it down to the level of actions.
Yeah.
So narcissism in the church, we understand what narcissism looks like.
Yeah.
Self-importance and so on. But practically speaking, like, what does it look like in a church?
Yeah.
To have a pastor that is somewhat more narcissistic than usual.
Yeah.
What kind of principles would they embody? Like, what would they be doing?
Yeah. So number one is that this focus, the whole focus is somewhat of how people see them, and that people need to give them good words, affirm them. That if you don't affirm them, you're in the red line, or you're a bad person. That if you come to criticize them, that the fault is on you, not on them. That when you I'm looking for a word to use. So when you go to the bottom of it, is they want you to be someone that's really, really looking up to them.
That respects them, or
it's not just respect, but you need to see them as someone that's a mighty person. Especially in Pentecostal church, they want you to see them as someone that's very spiritual.
And what do you think they would do if you don't do that? Because I'm trying to look for things that would make it easier for someone to actually see these things.
Yeah.
So you brought up, you said, for example, that someone who probably speaks at church every week might be a narcissistic.
Yeah.
So does that mean that if a pastor is the only person speaking, and he does not allow other people to speak in their ministry, would that is that a red sign? Is that a red sign or a red flag, or what?
Not completely, but it's somewhat like, whoa, you can see some sort of a narcissistic trait, but you don't know to what extent, because preaching, they might have other things that they are looking into, that is making them preach every Sunday, only them. But they would have some sort of narcissistic. You would just expect that from a pastor. Expect that a little bit of somewhat of narcissistic, but is to what extent? For them preaching, probably it's not that bad. Compare to them actually wanting you to praise them. And if you're not praising them, that you are against them, that you're against the church. And that's another way to know that is that there's some sort of narcissistic culture, is that when you are criticizing the pastor, they see that you're criticizing God.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You're criticizing God, you're criticizing our church, the whole church, when you're trying to bring some sort of correction to the pastor. That's what a narcissistic.
That's a good way of putting it. Almost facing yourself in the position of God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I can see ways in which it'll be difficult even for a member to critique or criticize or step up.
Yeah.
Against a leader that. Yeah, that's tough, man.
Yeah, and I think another thing that you can see with a narcissistic pastor is that the people that have key areas or key leadership spots are their friends, and when they're not friends, those people are kicked out, replaced by people that are his friends. Those are somewhat of what narcissistic pastor would be, and it would be like even like with the people that hold them accountable, or their board team, for example, would be people that are the supporters, the yes men.
Okay, I mean, it seems like you're saying that narcissistic pastors or leaders are ones that they see themselves as perfect.
Yeah.
Or as perfect, as the most important, unable to take correction.
Yeah.
Surround themselves, and so they surround themselves with people that largely just agree with them.
Yeah, and another thing that I can touch on that as well. I'm bringing so much stuff, but because this is actually the most, I think is the most important. That if you notice this, probably all the other ones falls somewhere underneath this.
Oh, do you think the other ones come kind of like as a result of this?
It can, yes, it can,
okay.
It can. So I think a big area that I see with a person that is a pastor that's narcissistic is when things come to him facing and he blames other people and says that other people are the fault. It's not me. Like they see themselves as the victim, even if their action actually victimized the other person. But they would say that they will even put motives to those people. That's a narcissistic pastor.
Okay.
Narcissistic leaders. They'll put motives to those people that they're somewhat of they will say that it's their fault. They'd even go far to say that the devil is the one that's using them. They would go to those extent to say that these people are fighting me, and they're fighting not just me, they're fighting the church. These people are I'm the one that's a victim here, not you. I'm the victim.
Yes.
And they
sounds like manipulation, eh?
Yeah, but this is what narcissistic culture or pastor or leadership culture would bring, and this actually even plays a part in the members and all this. That when they have issues, they would use those kind of things that they see with their pastor. Narcissistic traits, they would somewhat embody those things as well.
Oh, that sounds bad.
But I've seen it, where they actually do, because the pastor uses it, they naturally, just because this is what they see, they naturally would see themselves as victims. Even the way they read the Bible, they would the
members,
even the pastor when he preaches, they will use when he's talking about a good person, he would put himself in there. When he's talking about a bad person, he would say others. This is somewhat of what a narcissistic traits would look like. Yeah,
no, it's tough. I think I think we would all accept that narcissism is bad.
Yeah.
The question is then how do we fight against it?
Yeah. No. So before we talk about what how we fight against it, we have to understand this person. What kind of things are they fighting, or this culture? What are they resisting?
Okay.
So number one, I think they're resisting empathy, like them actually putting themselves in other people's shoes, and understanding that, like even hurting people. Like if they're narcissistic, they don't see the hurt people. They see themselves more than anything else. So they don't empathize with people, and they're not compassionate to people. They don't actually show grace. They don't embody those gospel things that we supposed to embody, and they don't this person. They don't take time to hear the hurting people. They don't actually. They don't have time to hear that person is hurting, because it's all about them. So they resist the goodness that God wants us to place, which is the gospel, like empathy, compassion. This is and God cares about how people feel, like hurting and all this. Like
it sounds very antithetical to what we are supposed to embody as Christians.
Yeah.
But yet you're saying that it's so common.
Yeah, it's so common. Yeah. And most of the churches that you see being exposed for being a bad culture, this is one of the ones that hurts people more. This narcissistic pastor hurts people a lot more, because they don't care how much people they hurt now, because they have a goal they wanna pursue, which is the church being the biggest church. Usually, it's what something that narcissistic would promote, that they have the best church, the best everything. Yeah. Go for it.
Now, it's going to be a difficult one, but
Yeah.
it must be asked anyway.
Go for it.
So, now look, you said that they have their own agenda and pretty much they're building their own kingdom
Yeah.
within the church premises in the name of God, church.
Yeah.
Then how can we say that this person is working for God if all they're doing is causing problems, causing issues,
Yeah.
people don't care about them, don't care about the spiritual, mental well-being? Then how can we actually say that this person is working for God and people are being saved if this is what's happening in that church?
Yeah, man. Like, I want us to understand. People are so complicated. People are complicated. That a narcissistic pastor can have some sort of this bad traits, but somehow you see that people are being saved, and that those good things that they might have, that it's somewhat impacting people as well. And then this is actually what makes it bad, is because they would have something that's really good as well, and they might be really, really gifted as well, but have toxic traits. And I like that question remind me of a story in the Bible about the young prophet in 2 Kings, young prophet and the old prophet, how this young prophet, God uses him madly and everything, and then this old prophet, God actually tells the young prophet not to go the same way and all these things. And then this old prophet comes to him, sends him someone's like, hey, God told me that you should come with me. And he does. And then this prophet that was lying, he was lying in the name of God. And as they were sitting, this prophet, God speaks to him. I was like, what? How does this make sense? So like that's the whole thing with bad culture. Like humans are so complicated that you can see something that's really bad, but God actually might still use them. You're like, why? Does that answer your question, or makes it even more complicated? Yeah.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. That obviously God can speak.
Yeah.
And still say that man of God, that pastor.
Yeah.
Although there is those traits that are being displayed, all these things that are not right, that are not supposed to be seen and experienced in the church.
Yeah.
That are all these things that are seen. To what extent then can we say God can still use them and people be saved through them? Although we're seeing all, because part of being a toxic leader, a lot comes with it. It's not just them, the leadership style not being okay. But we find that these kind of people, they can have all the sinful nature within them as well.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about that. They could be taking church money, for example.
Yeah.
They could be doing that, and no one can ask them because this is who they are. This is how they do things. And no one has the right to ask them. They could be in the midst of, let's say, relationships with other women within the church, maybe up to 4 or 5 women.
Yeah.
But because they are dominant, because they are good at what they're doing, no one has the right to ask them.
Yeah.
We see this as well. They could be even teachings that are completely off, that are not biblical.
Yeah.
But no one will be able to stand against them and correct them. And this is one that we see a lot, by the way. And with all these things, how my question still stands like this is pretty much the work of the devil if they're moving like this. Teaching people and derailing them, not staying within the truth. And using whether people taking money, whether stealing it or no one has the right to say that. My question still stands then, is this person really saved or have they fallen from grace?
Sorry. I think I would like to say, before we started all this, you mentioned that narcissism is, it's like a spectrum. And to a large extent, you would expect most of us to be somewhere along that spectrum. I don't want to, me personally, I wouldn't want to think myself so highly that to presume that I'm not anywhere in that spectrum. For all intents and purposes, I'm probably somewhere there. So I think we shouldn't see it as something that is so far removed from us, to the extent that we even claim that maybe this person is being used by the devil and so on. Even if that could be possible, I would simply say human beings are complex. We do a lot of different things. There are parts of us, parts of our characters that are good, parts that are bad, parts of us that are gifted, so parts of us that are not as gifted, and parts of us, some actions that we partake in are with good intentions, and some are not with as good intentions. I think just because someone has certain traits that are negative doesn't mean that in totality they are completely bad. And beyond that as well, it doesn't mean that there is nothing good from them. Even if in its totality they are bad, it doesn't mean that there is nothing good from them completely. And so we see that, sometimes you mentioned they have some gifts as well. I think we see in scripture that just because somebody is gifted, it's not an indication that they're a good person. And so I think, me personally, I try to separate the giftings from goodness. Let's say. And I think we that might even be part of the issues that we have in churches, where we see people that are gifted, and we assume because they're gifted, it means that they're good people. And so we allow them to do what they are, and we see them as exemplars, even though they're not good examples. But what do you think?
I think it's good. And I want us to think like this, that even a church that you can see some sort of a move of the spirit can have actually bad traits or toxic culture. And it's not God moving, it's not an approval of the culture. And God using someone is not approval of the toxic traits that they have. And just I want us to think like this, that when we talk about someone that is toxic or whatever, and when we push it that far to say that they might not be a Christian, I want us to just be careful, because we might actually have ourselves, that we might actually have some toxic culture that
definitely we do.
That if we don't have compassion for those people, we might actually fall as well in those places. Because if are narcissistic, one thing that they resist is empathy, and empathy is actually is a strong emotion that God created for us to have. And the way we know that we have empathy is that we can see the other person, and we can see that if we were in the same situation as them, we might actually sin. And empathy help us to understand grace and understand people's struggles. So
I think
that makes sense.
I think it's I like to think of it as kind of God uses us despite our our inadequacies, despite the mistakes that we make, he still uses us.
Yeah.
And the way I see it, I always like to compare the extremes to kind of like the smallest. When I understand that I myself, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
we all know that.
Yeah.
And yet, even in my life, I see that God is using me to some extent.
Yeah.
And so I think if God can do that, for me, He can use me. Then I'm assuming, just because you're toxic and so on, doesn't mean that. I'm trying to be careful with my wording, but just because people are saved through some of your works, it's not a green light for all of what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, which is really good. Yeah, and like I think we can't take away the other aspect that a narcissistic pastor, there's things that they're doing that's really, really bad that I'm not fully pushing away the question, because like, how are you hurting God's child? And Jesus talks about what happens, what kind of punishment is for when you hurt a little one. So I don't push back against the question. The question is somewhat reasonable, and I think a pastor that is going so far in the spectrum, that Will's asking about their salvation, that that could be something that's actually happened to them, that because they're so far off, like they're not even, when we're talking about it, is they're actually going against scripture.
I mean, it seems like you were listing off the traits that they're fighting against.
Yeah.
Like what? Empathy, grace, maybe mercy.
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of everything, eh?
Yeah. that counts. Yeah. So like, and pastor like that, like they probably need to be restored to Christ more than anything else.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say that the reason why I asked that is because we see that there are people or pastors, ministers, I'd say.
Yeah.
Just pastors, feels like we're attacking pastors tonight. Just ministers in general, that they can be at a place where they have started off very good.
Yeah.
And their ministry is going really well. And then give it a few years, you see that things are changing, that there are now traits that are not right, traits that are not okay, and they continue for so long. Yeah. And even some of them might be in a higher position. This is probably why we are saying pastors in general, but of leaders and ministers. Yeah. Now, because they're in those high places, it makes it really, really, really hard for those that are growing, those that are new, because from outside, and to be honest, people are talking, like other people that do not even go to church, they talk about, this church is this and this church is that. It's because they're seeing these kind of traits within people, and they don't know what word to put to it, but they say, because of you guys, I don't want to come to church.
Which is sad.
Culture, talking about church culture and how this impacts. And we established before, we said that church culture is shaped by the leaders, the leader of the church. So now if these things are there and people are insulting the name of God because of how a leader or a minister decided to act and live their life, this is where my question before has been then, where is the line? Like, where do we actually draw the line and say, all right, you know what? This person is now over the line. He has crossed the line. He's on the other side. I just heard before you said they need to be restored. So where do we draw the line and say that this person needs to be restored? He's too toxic. He cannot continue leading. Otherwise, he can be leading, but yet people are gonna have all these things that they're saying. This is my question. It's big, and also clarify some of the stuff that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
What's your intake on this?
Yeah, I think with restorations and on how far it is, like, I think God knows how to discipline people. Yeah, and as much as they resist and everything, the end of the day, the truth does come out. Even maybe not in this life, even the next life, there's some sort of justice that comes to play. And where would I draw the line, or how far is this person gone? I wouldn't know, but I believe that this exposure about church culture and what they did, I think that might be God's grace to say that this person has gone far. And them continuing, that might be actually God's judgment on them for the pain that they're causing. And that the salvation, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm referring to, more of the salvation. But that God's heart, and even our conversation today, I want it to be that there is they can. When we talk about pivot later, we can see how this can be changed and the possibilities of this being changed. But I would leave that to God, man, because it's very tough.
Yeah, it's
very tough.
It's tough.
Yeah,
because it's tough. The easy answer would be, I don't know, when people are getting hurt.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's the clearest indication I think we can tell from the outside that it's going too far.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I think what you're saying is, even us talking about this now, putting words to it.
Yeah.
If they hear that, then they should perhaps notice it, and then maybe have a change in heart, and that could also be an indication that they've gone too far.
Yeah.
If they hear this, notice it, and then choose not to do anything about it. No, but it's tough.
Yeah, and I think I want us to the key aspect of how to because it's so hard to identify this in a church unless you get close to the pastor and the leadership. Yeah, it's so hard to probably see this in a pastor, because pastors or ministers, they're really good at hiding this.
Do you have some concrete, let's say, I mean, I wonder if you have any stories about this, actually.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories, but I want us to think it something that I even ignored. Yeah, the key way to know that there's some sort of narcissistic culture in the church is just look at the church history and how many people are hurt and where these people are right now. This is an initial indication of if they do have narcissistic traits.
What do you mean by where these people are right now? You mean like whether they stayed in the church or if they left, or what do you mean?
Yeah, it's the relationship with the church right now. Yeah, so look at the church and see people that are hurt, and see where they are with the church, if they are in good relationship with the church, for example, or is things they don't even talk to each other and all these things. This is indication for someone to probably put a stop and check very, very well of what church it is. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. Wills, what do you think about that?
Looking at the history of the church
and seeing the people that are hurt and the relationship with the church, how they're in good relationship or they're not even on speaking terms.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah,
it's interesting because it could also go both ways.
Yeah,
because we can also see that there might be another leader that's rising, and he might probably take half or maybe a quarter of the church with him.
Yeah,
so
church split.
To go to these people and ask them, what happened and all these things, you might get 80% of them telling you that church is bad. But it's not that it's bad, it's because that someone influenced them and took them away from that church, and they became victims of this narrative that the church is bad. So whoever asks them will say that. And in part, yes, I do believe that within that as well, you can see, especially when it's individuals. When it's individuals, and you will see that the hurt is not the same all around. You will see that it's different. Yeah. Like each and every person will have their own ways that they have been hurt, and their own story, I would say, to, why things didn't work out for them. Yeah, that's what I think on that.
Yeah, and I think even with church split, that could be an indication of something toxic as well. I don't know how you feel about that, Wills. Yeah. That even a church split, no matter who's saying they're the victims, that's an indication that there's some sort of a toxic traits that are lingering around.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because if church split happened, there's got to be a reason.
Yeah.
And not to say that people won't be blessed or let go.
Yeah.
Because that also happens, and church will move on, and other members will go in peace. But we can't say that it's the case all the time.
Yeah.
Part of toxic leaders or just pastors, or as we were calling them, they can have disagreements because they are not seeing eye to eye, or it's just something happening in between, and because of the way of doing things, that could also be the case. Where you will see church not in agreement, and someone else because you've got two people that are toxic.
Yeah.
And because of that, you don't know who to go with and on what side to go.
Yeah.
As a result, that's when you see a church, splitting and all these things taking place. Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, it's 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think we've spoken enough about narcissistic pastors.
Yeah.
I think the takeaway would be that it seems like it's difficult to spot them out, but it's more so the traits that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Someone that is overly focused on themselves, unable to take criticism, shirks responsibility away from themselves, points fingers, focuses more on the organization as opposed to the good of the members themselves. That's so those are the things that we're looking out for. I think you mentioned, I think Will said something before that I would like to touch on. That we're not trying to call out pastors or whatever here. I think we understand that these are some of these traits we fall into them almost by accident. And if we are trying to put words and descriptions to these things, so that even if you're a pastor or a leader, you can notice and see them, and perhaps before it gets too far, take the actions that are necessary to put in these checks and balances, even for yourselves, just to keep you in check. We're all trying our best. But beyond that, I think let's move on. I think you mentioned something about ruling through fear or something like that.
Power through fear.
Power through fear. What do you mean by power through fear?
So they when the authority or the power of the organization is presented in or is displayed in putting fear on people, that if you don't do this is going to happen, these bad things are going to happen.
So threats almost.
Threats and the threats are not just them removing you, could be spiritual as well, saying that if you don't obey us, because you don't obey us, there's going to be a judgment on you.
That's one I want to comment.
It seems like you experienced this.
People abuse their authority and their power in these areas and make these kind of threats to believers. That they're old, young, all of them. How do we deal with this? Sorry, I came in because this is a hot one.
How do we deal with it? I wanted to go more on how it looks like and all this. I think the thing is this, that a pastor and leaders, like, they somewhat have authority. God has given them, like when you read the Bible, you hear this authority that they do have. But the issue that I'm talking about is them going beyond the scripture, and placing more authority on them. The authority that the Bible did not give them at all, or that God did not give them.
You sound like John MacArthur.
I love the guy, so it's all good. That sounds good.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, but I think the authority that the church has is only until where the scripture puts the line. That's where it's not. So we hear stories of pastors trying to even go on people's families and putting rules on the wife, how they should treat their husbands, and
how they should act,
and how they should act, or how they should listen to the pastor more than their husband. And we're seeing how even goes so far on telling people where they can go, who they can talk to, who's their friends.
That one's common.
Those things when you don't obey them, or you do something completely opposite to what they're saying, then they're putting some sort of punishments on why, which is authority that God has not given them. They went beyond the scriptures with that.
I mean, you said that you wanted to balance all these different cultures against the culture
what they're fighting against.
Yeah. So what is it fighting against, actually? Before we go into like what we should do about it or whatever.
Yeah. Number one is the goodness. All this, the first thing that they're fighting about is goodness. God created everything to be good. Like all this, the first thing that they're fighting against is goodness. This one, I see that is grace is part of what they're fighting, and they're fighting freedom that God has, that we as Christians, like, we live in freedom. We're not living under bondage and under rules that or things that the Bible did not tell us to do. Like those things are what they're resisting. They're resisting actually people being gracious to, and even impacts. They could impact their walk with God as well, where they're not they can't go to a place where they can grow, or if they want to challenge their beliefs, they're told, they can't go to this Bible college, or they can't listen to this person. Those things, it plays part in other areas, and they resist.
Yeah. Do you think it's always bad if a pastor, for example, let's say says, because you bring up like restrictions in terms of like what Bible college to go, Bible studies to go to, and so on. I know me and you have come across some occults that proclaim to be,
Will knows it very well.
Having Bible studies and so on.
Yeah.
Would it be wrong in those situations? So in those situations, for a pastor to try to be a bit more controlling than usual?
Yeah, I think the issue is not just telling people. The issue is the control. And what makes this bad is the control is given without understanding or actually knowing why. That's where the issue comes in. And even when you do want to somewhat protect, because you're supposed to, you want to protect, because they would say this. The excuse that they will use is, we're trying to protect you. Yeah. So with protection, or the spiritual protection that they're supposed to do, is to be able to teach them those. If it's an occult, go teach them and what those people believe and what we believe, and let them know that there's a difference.
Show them why it's wrong.
Why it's wrong, and that's is the authority that God has given us. The protection is actually to teach people, not to actually control them where they should go. Because like if you look at church history, you see people that made so much impacts are people that were able to understand the heretics and tell us why they're heretics or why they believe is wrong. And maybe God has actually graced you as a church with someone that might have that ability as well. And yeah.
I mean, so we then like what do we do against that then?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Rules was saying. It seems tough. What do we do? Are we just supposed to leave or what?
Yeah, just like with that. Yeah. Hey, how are you doing? You're here.
Yeah, I'm here. So sorry. Finish your point. I'll jump in soon.
Yeah, even with like narcissistic thing. What do we do? What do we do? And the issue that we have with how culture is built, it's so hard to change. What has been built for years, it's core to what they believe. And I think the best way to change it is probably you doing it and letting them know why, the motives that you have of why you want to go to those places and what's the motives. And they might not understand your motives because they feel like the power is threatened, because someone that is uses their power with fear is when you are not in their control. They actually fear that they're actually losing power, and they actually cut you off, and that's what happens with this. Yeah.
Do you think some would be doing this with good intents? Do you think it's possible for them to actually do this, believing that they're actually protecting you from, bad company and all those sort of stuff?
Yeah, would I say that they are doing it in good content? Some of them. I try not to. With even like talking about culture, like as you can see, we're trying to avoid intense. Yeah,
reading the heart. We'll leave that to God.
Yeah, so it's all hard. So I just for the sake of this conversation, I might not want to give the intent of that pastor, but we can assume. But we can assume that it might be good, but we can assume it might be bad, because they're like, if they as I was saying, the control is through power, then the intentions is that they are somewhat scared of them losing some sort of power over the people that they're pastoring.
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel like it's to the point where the intent might not even matter if we're talking of culture.
Yeah,
because
that's why I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's how what sort of lifestyle does it promote in the members? And I think, like you described, if people are being controlled and so on, we're removing freedom, we're removing grace. The members don't live in this state of freedom that Christians, are kind of expecting.
Yeah, and they double doubt on what's happening, like what they should do.
So they doubt themselves as well.
Even the choices that they have.
Yeah.
That goes far on to impacts even the way they pray. Those the fear comes and plays in all this part subconsciously without them even knowing it.
I imagine myself praying
if I can step in.
Go for it.
Up to you, Malish. You just give me a turn, just in case I don't want to keep interrupting. Whenever you guys are ready, let me know.
I was gonna say, I could imagine myself, like think of myself praying for someone that my pastor told me not to speak to.
Yeah, yeah. It's even hard to pray for those people. Yeah.
What would that even look like? That's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, and even if you pray with them, pray for them, like those things that that you hear that they're not someone that you should talk to, can impact you the way you pray for them.
Yeah.
That you're not praying for like the full goodness that you should pray for them for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to give? Let's hear Dom. Well, what do you have to say?
Hi guys, I think I've been hearing the conversation from the beginning. It's great conversation. We spoke about narcissists and also spoke about pastors, mainly leaders that are narcissists. But also I feel like we have kind of let the congregation to do what they wish to do with their life. The reason why I'm saying that is we focus so much on the pastor. This is the point that the members and the congregation, the leaders are angels. But I think when it comes to covering this topic, it's very crucial and very important that we should look at the church as an umbrella.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to culture's beliefs are collective. So it does not mean that, of course, we look at the pastor maybe at the head.
Yeah.
But then the culture is collective, everyone else.
Yeah.
Like I've served in different churches. Let me just go straight away to the point. African church, or Sudanese church, for example, right? Sometimes you see some leaders are not living to the standard, and it's so easy for them to mess up and blame it on the pastor. And some pastors, yes, sometimes when you speak to them, sometimes it might be challenging here and there, but there's a lot of misunderstanding.
Yeah.
When the narcissists come into place right now, the narcissist doesn't really look at, that mean the pastor is narcissist, so that means the whole congregation will follow blindly. That means that we have not done justice to the topic. So I believe.
Have you heard what we were speaking about before? How we landed on?
I've been listening. I've been listening to the whole. I've been listening to the whole. I'm just giving like a summary because I know, like, I've been hearing the conversation from the beginning.
Yeah.
So we spoke about further narcissists, and we spoke about the character and the attribute. But I think not to be biased, but I think we focus more on the pastor.
Yeah, because today we're focusing on leadership and what toxic leadership that we have, and we landed on how the pastor and the leadership team that they set the tone of what culture looks like. So that's why we're talking so much on what we're talking about pastors a lot. We're not trying to pull them and saying that they the only one that's doing these things, but we're saying as we're starting to talk about things that we should look out for, we're saying that the leaders are the key and the founder of what their culture of the church would look like. That's why you're hearing a lot leaders. Yeah.
No. I think I was just giving a comment because, like, as we all know and we all been listening to the conversation, what I'm trying to say here, project, is yes, there's an issue and there's a culture. So the culture means collective. Now, when it comes to attribute as well, so I felt like, yes, the pastors also that they might have that kind of trait of narcissism, which is understandable, so understood. But I felt like the pastor should not be crucified by himself. But all I'm trying to say here, we need to look at the leaders, each one at a time, because the pastors also might be listening to this podcast. So we wanted to make sure that also there can be a robust conversation. So, for example, as I said, I've served in many churches. Sometimes the leaders are not obedient. And also when we look at the word narcissist, right?
Yeah.
It's a psychological term before it becomes to be a culture or practical term. So narcissist can be narcissistic disorder, where someone is just, or imposter syndrome, where someone just so love themselves and whatnot. And also that anyone in that circle in the church or in the culture can also play the manipulative role. For example, the assistant pastor, for example, the choir leader, for example, the Sunday school or anyone else. So that means that when we look at the culture, we look at it at whole, but I will not necessarily put everything in the pastor because that would be like unfair in human senses. But we can say, yes, you as a pastor, you need to follow A, B, and C. But also you as a leader or you as a member of the board, you have a right. And your right is documented. You should question. You should step up. You should say A, B, and C, because guess what? pastor and the leaders, both of you guys, if you guys all messed up, and if you guys trying to just be a one uniform, that means the whole congregation now has been led astray. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yes, it's good to point out the pastor, but I felt like we don't want to give so much burden to the pastors, but then the leaders as well should know better. Because, for example, other mega churches, they have the power to kind of like strip off the pastor. I think we've seen in the U.S., one of the pastors, I think they committed fornication or something, and he was stepped down or he was disciplined. So I think for us African church, if we know the system and if we know how the system operates, then we surely should know that the culture, yes, it might fall from the pastor, but the pastor doesn't have the final, absolute, what is it called? Say.
Yeah, I think
Does that make sense?
I think you coming into we went further down from where we are right now. We're further down from that, and I don't want to get back to that. I think the reason why you're hearing so much about pastor and is to do with we're talking about who sets the tone and how the pastor, and when we're saying the pastor, it's not just him, it's the leadership, because we're focusing on what leaders does and how the pastor, he sets the tone even for the leaders. And we talked about how he carries himself, pours out on leaders and even the members, and that's why we're saying that and that if the pastor has good culture, he would resist when a bad member or that has some sort of bad toxic traits, that because he's there with the goodness, he would resist against that bad culture, and that bad culture would actually, because the culture, it rises and falls based on who's actually the head or the leader that's leading the.
You know what it sounds like whenever you're using culture now?
Yeah.
It just sounds like you're saying if somebody is a good or bad Christian.
And you can use that, yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, I think there's a misunderstanding there, guys. Let's be clear when we're addressing those topics.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to take you guys back.
Yeah.
But all I'm trying to say is the way we're addressing this topic.
Yeah.
Because it's a big, very big topic.
Yeah.
Let's be mindful of how we address the topic in terms of, like, I'm not trying to defend the pastors either, but I'm just trying to say that, yes, this is a present topic, it's a present issue that we face, and also that for you to solve a culture issue, you need to look at it from the big umbrella. Even though things might fall on the pastor, but what I'm trying to say, pastor, he's not the final solution, he's not the final say.
Who's the final say?
It's not.
Who? Tell us who then.
No, I will tell. This is just a civil discussion.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say here, if you have a church, you have a policy. If you have a policy, everyone must obey by the policy. So if someone does not obey by the policy, what I'm trying to say, you as a leader or you as a board, you have the right to come and also express. Or you as a board member as well. There's channels that you can do. There's a whistleblower. There's whatnot.
Whistleblower.
Sorry?
Yeah. You're talking about whistleblower because in Australia we do. But I think all right. So let's get back to our conversation because we have to worry about the time as well.
I think we guys can wrap it up. But what I'm saying, we'll just need to make it bigger. I think the discussion because we don't want to harm anyone. You know how our African people how they act, right? So what I'm trying to say, guys. It's good discussion, but let's just make sure that whenever we address it, let's be more like inclusive, if that makes sense. How we can wrap it up whenever.
How can we be more inclusive in the way we spoke?
No, because
the way we spoke. How could we be more? Because you're telling us to be more inclusive.
Because of the time.
How could we do that better?
Sure. Because of the time, as well as you mentioned before, we don't want to go back and forth as well. What I'm trying to say, we're having a great discussion. Let's cover today. Let's make it plain about pastor. Maybe next week let's go different focus on leaders, because honestly,
that's what we're doing anyways.
Then we should have just been clear from the beginning. Today will be focused on pastor, and then the next will be because we don't want to be misunderstood.
Dom, can I jump in and say that it hasn't been mainly about the pastors. It's been about leaders. It's been about leadership and ministers. Even when I jumped in and talked, I also addressed leadership and ministers. It wasn't just pastors. But we're using the name pastors because these are the people that we know traditionally to be the ones in charge. That's why. But when we say pastor, we're not aiming at a senior pastor, one person. We're speaking of ministers overall, if that clarifies it a bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, and
it does, Will. It does clarify. But what I'm trying to say, that's why we should also continue to re-clarify or reframe whenever we engage in discussion, because we don't want people to misunderstand us. You know how African and how Sudanese and how other people act. And also we're here for good purpose. We're not here to ignite anything.
Yeah,
no, that's everything you're saying is noted.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, anyways, for sharing your mind, man. And we encourage that too. Yeah, and if someone does have any question to us, for sure, come and share, and even if you do have something that we are not doing well, that we can do better, like before you're telling us that we can be more inclusive, like you can actually come and help us as well, help us how we can do this better, and how we can make this conversation helpful, not just for the pastors but for the members. And just remember where our heart is that we want to see churches that embrace the goodness of God, and that they live out what the Bible says. And we want to see a healthy Sudanese churches in Australia and all over the world. And our heart is to build, not to tear down. So I don't want you to, if you're here and you might have heard us talking about things that could be challenging for you to hear if you're in a leadership position. I want you to know that's where our heart is, to encourage you that if you're displaying the goodness culture, we want you to continue. And if you see areas that might display some sort of narcissistic or fear-based or power-based or power through fear-based culture, that you can actually, especially if you're in that position, you can do something. Yeah.
Yeah. How much time do we have left?
How much time do we have? Because we only did like 2.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Will, how long do we have now, man?
It's up to you guys. It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. I think we can carry on for a bit more, because Dom just came and also give him a chance to have his say too.
Yeah.
Maybe another 20 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Am I on? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, but honestly, it's a great discussion and it's a lot of learning. And our heart is, because all of us, we are part of this podcast as well. Yeah. It's not really about us or how emotion trigger or anything like that, not at all. But also those who are hearing us, those who are watching us from overseas. And also we must know the environment at this moment as well. So when we're speaking this is to anyone that is watching, or pastor, or anyone, whoever who you are, that we're trying to make sure that we express the opinion, and also that we're trying to show that what can be better for you as a leader. Yeah. And we're trying to also empower leaders as well to do the right thing. It's very important, because if you're also part of the leader, and if you're just going to rely on your pastor, or maybe later on blame your pastor, then you yourself are not accountable. So my view was that you as a leader, you have the right to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So don't be in a church where you kind of partaker and participate.
Yeah.
For example, when we speak about the attribute of narrative where they control, you need to resist as well. Say, hey, if you feel like there's resistance, you need to go resist. And by the law, by the book, but don't be like, stubborn and whatnot. So overall, we're just trying to make an awareness. Is that right, Emmanuel and and also that Malaysia. So we're creating awareness, but a healthy awareness in a way that all of you guys can actually then understand what we're trying to communicate.
Yeah, and as we're talking, like we are talking, we're bringing bad culture, but we're talking about how to resist those culture by doing like narcissistic, by being empathetic about people, about being compassionate. Like we're actually giving people some things that they can somewhat resist those bad culture. Do you think we did good with the using power through fear based, or should we go more in it, or should we just go to the next one?
No, I think we can go into the next one.
Yeah.
The key thing that we're trying to do today is to show people, so members and leaders themselves, identifies ways that they can identify toxic cultures, essentially the things that they might be doing or churches might be doing that make it difficult for Christians to be good Christians.
Yeah,
I can frame it that way.
Yeah,
but we're just pointing out identifiers and what they're hindering.
Yeah.
But I think for fear, I think we've done well.
I'll go into the next one. It's to do with like institution creep, or putting the institution organization as the primary goal.
I feel like we've seen sprinkles of that in the discussions before.
Yeah. But I want us to actually see this, because like this one plays a big part on, especially when we hear things come out about churches. I think this one is some sort of a key thing where they're protecting the organization at all costs. Their goal, this culture, their goal is to protect this organization at all costs. That, for example, if things that someone did something bad that can look bad to other people that are not part of the organization, they would hide it. And this one, it creeps in whatever size the church is. In mega churches, even in Catholic Church, they protected people that did things that are bad because they wanted to protect the organizations, how people see the organization, what the organization is so good that we don't have anything like this, like what we hear in other churches. So this is, I think it's important to talk about.
Yeah, it is. I feel like we see that. I don't know. A lot of people would assume. Do you think it's easier for churches to grow if they do this? If they structure themselves and do the events in such a way that they protect the image of the church, of the organization?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, do you think then, although you say that it happens at all sizes, do you think larger churches are more predisposed to this?
I wouldn't say it just happens in every. I wouldn't say who's more, but I think it just happens at every size. But I think because they put especially when you see a church that is their aim is to do with programs, and they don't have things to do with building communities or building people as friends. Those are the things that I'll see that is, oh wait, it's a toxic culture, because down low that there might be some stories that they are hiding and they're protecting. The issue is that they actually protect perpetrators, because we're part of the world and there's perpetrators all over the world, and a church that's protecting the organization at all costs, they actually protect perpetrators, and they are hurting the victims, because they are not helping the victims understand what's going on and what the perpetrator did, that they're actually not protecting the victim. They're actually allowing the perpetrator to continue doing the work that they're doing. And that perpetrator could be anyone in the church, from the members to the leaders to even the pastor, the senior pastor. That could be anyone throughout the church, because the organization is so focused on protecting the organization. Yeah, Dwom, you're saying something?
I'll jump in here. I think that's a good. I think that I love this second part. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I think, Emmanuel, if I'm correct, are you talking about cover up?
Yeah, it's cover up culture. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
Cover up culture.
Yeah. I think if we put it this way, then much better.
Yeah.
So I think when it comes to cover up, like as Emmanuel, as you mentioned as well, that it kind of they're protecting the organization. But all I'm seeing as well that our own culture kind of play in it. For example, you know how we as Sudanese, we raise in a way that there's 3 people you can't really tell them off. You can't tell your dad off, you can't tell your mom off, and you can't tell your pastor off, or someone like that. So our culture is so submissive to the point, if the pastor's gone to the fire, everyone's going to jump in. And then all burn together. And also that are afraid to tell someone, a leader off, or to point out their mistake. So I think that's actually inherited in our DNA culture as Nilotic people, like people from the Nile, Sudan, wherever. So I think that's how we were brought up. Even when you see people like, for example, pastor or leader, because I'm just trying to be now more like inclusive, covering it, bringing everyone together. So if you see a pastor or a leader or a treasurer or anyone that is giving an authority, and this is also in Western world, whenever someone that has authority, they can abuse it, regardless of who they are. So then sometimes then you with the culture, and also with our culture as well as Sudanese, sometimes even to look at someone's eye when they talk to you, someone that's older than you feel like shy, you don't want to talk to them. So I felt like part of it is culture, our inheriting culture, because we feel afraid that we cannot tell pastor off, we cannot tell someone in authority off. Second thing that, yes, we are afraid to be cancelled or to be like removed, because guess what? If the pastor or the leader went to someone and said, this person tried to correct me, everyone will see you as a bad person. And then they will then target you. You'll be victimized. You'll be victimized for stepping up and saying things. So this is actually the bigger things about it. I'm not sure how we can resolve that, but it's a bad culture, which is now our topic. It's really extremely bad culture. I don't know how we can go about it. For me personally, if in my example in the past, in other churches that I've been to as well, I always speak up. I'm not a person that will not speak up. I'll always speak up. I will always give you a warning that you're crossing my boundary. And if you're crossing my boundary, there's a day will be I will come and speak to you. I always warn the leaders, regardless of who they are in the church. I always tell them, hey, right now you're crossing my boundary, but we'll have some time and we'll talk about it. Some pastors, some leaders, they brush it off. But eventually, because someone crosses your boundary, you have the right to come one day and sit them down and let them know A, B, C. Whatever it happened, but also to the point, if you then as a leader, and if you're a member or whatever, or if you have activities in that church, you have the right to resign and walk away. At least you walk away with closure.
And
so that's what I'm trying to say. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, are you Sudanese?
Yeah, I'm Sudanese, yeah.
Yeah, so like having a bad culture, it's not an excuse. Just like you speak out. Right, you're talking about you speaking out. So let us not use that with Sudanese and we don't talk about bad stuff, because I know back home when someone does something bad, we as Sudanese we actually beat them up. We actually it seems like we're more harsh in the way we want to correct someone that does a perpetrator. So I can see even in our culture that as much as there is in our church culture, there might be a place where we want to protect the organization. But I can see in our culture that we have a heart that we want the righteousness. We want things to be right. That when there is someone that's perpetrating, we actually want. We will tell the brothers, and the brothers will come up and resist that. So I can see even as you're talking that our culture does have some sort of a way that we can resist it. Let us not use that as an excuse. And even like us reading the Bible, like because as much as we have our Sudanese culture and everything, but what the Bible does or what the Bible talks about, is how we should resist, even if our culture has something bad, that we can actually, or our tradition has something bad, that we can actually resist that. Yeah. What do you think?
But I will tell you before Malish come into place. But you'll be surprised, Emmanuel. Like in Sudan, I'll just say in Arabic.
Yeah, go for it.
يعني في احترام للزول كبير يعني شوف زول كبير كده. Like you want to respect them. I think Wills will know this as well.
Yeah.
Like how we grew up, like for we people of the 90s or wherever.
Yeah.
How we were raised is different to people in the Western world.
Yeah.
Where here you're taught about your opinion and you're taught about your right and how to express yourself. But what I'm trying to say is the people that grow in that culture back home in Sudan, that where I grew up in Sudan, like our normal culture is sometimes you cannot look at someone's eye. That's why in the school right now, a lot of students are struggle because they can't look at the teacher's eye. They feel like it's rude. Second thing here that you cannot tell an old person off. I'm just trying to say this is the culture that we all grow up in. But here the environment, of course, the environment play a big role. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't allow this to stop us from speaking up. So, and you'll be also surprised, a lot of people, they see pastors or leaders as people from heaven that they can't sin. Yeah. But they don't know, like people behind the screen, they do all this kind of sort of things. But there's still some people, even our some aunties or some uncle, you'll be amazed, honestly. People that grow up in the 80s, they still perceive pastor or leader as someone's angel. I'm not sure, do you guys understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
I'll stop here.
Yeah, no, it's difficult to stand up when things are bad. But I think we can use you as an example. It's always possible for someone who has the courage to muster it up and to actually stand up and say something. So that's what we're looking for. I think I can mention before as well. I thought it might be possible that, you know what? Let's not do that. we're running out of time.
Yeah.
We'll save that for next time.
Yeah.
I think we saw a question here from Facebook from David Delphin. He says, "How do you balance control and receiving correction?"
Yeah.
Who wants to take that? How do you balance control and receiving correction? I'm assuming this is the topic we were discussing before about what do you call it, using power and so on to force people to do certain stuff.
Yeah.
How do you balance that, or how would you distinguish between the two?
Yeah. Balance. I think the balance of control pastors should have over you. Like what I said before, like they should have as far as the Bible gives them rights to, and that's how far they should have, and anything above that is not on your conscience.
It's not on your conscience.
You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but as in like it shouldn't be binding to you.
Yeah, it's not binding to your conscience. Yeah, it's not binding. If it's excess biblical or whatever, that even if they do press you on it, just remember that it shouldn't be binding on you. But the authority that they have, that the Bible talks about, that you should look for them for directions and all these things, that you should listen to them. And even listening to them in the scripture, it doesn't tell you that what they say is like you 100% need to do that. That they're there to help you to know God's will. They work with you. And I think that's how far the control that they have, and it should be in a way that you're somewhat of. It should come out of a relationship with them, not just that you must do this. It should come out of a relationship with them. That's how I see, like even when I read Paul and all these things, like you can see the way Paul talks to Timothy and to Titus is like he has some sort of relationship with them. It's not just, hey, you do this and that's it, or you must do this. It seems like he gives them things go. Go for it.
Can I ask for a practical example that you can give that we can relate to in that way, so it's more clear?
Yeah. Practical, I just talked about how you should do it. And then I'll say that the bad way of it would be if they're telling you, for example, controlling who speaks for you and who prays over you. Because I know there was someone that was that somewhat discipling me, and he was mad because I went to a church service and this pastor poured oil on me. He was mad because of that. So I would say that's far. That's too far. And them controlling where you should go, I think that's over using their power over what the scripture allows. And
I think the clearest examples that comes to my mind, anyways, is the Bible study one that you're giving. If someone is going to a Bible study or attending Bible study classes, the pastor can approach that in two different ways. Either he can tell you should not go there, it's bad for you, and then full stop. Or he can tell you should not go there, it's bad for you, and then he goes into scripture and shows you why it's bad for you. And then he leaves you to decide. That's I think that's the difference. He shows you through scripture, and then he gives you the knowledge through scripture, and then allows you to make the decision, to make the choice, and he gives you that opportunity. I think that's why I love it when you say it's out of relationship. It's not me kind of telling you to do something. It's me giving you the knowledge or the tools you need to have for you to make the correct decision. And I think that's the difference.
Also, Madesh, because is that about balancing? Because can you clarify the question again? It doesn't really. I'm not getting it properly.
Because the question is, how do you balance control and receiving corrections?
Okay, whom's receiving correction?
I'm assuming it's he means a leader is wanting to speak to someone. So perhaps he wants to control someone. Perhaps he wants to disciple someone in a certain situation. How would they then, as a leader, kind of balance the two? How can they give advice in such a way that is not controlling, but is actually corrective in nature? And how would they know the difference? I'm assuming that's what.
Sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, I think yourself and Emmanuel have before mentor people, like what Emmanuel just mentioned before with mentorship, right? So when it comes to mentorship, or when you're trying to control, should not be in a picture at all. Should not be in a picture, because if you're trying to disciple me, it has no correlation with controlling me. Like if you, for example, Madesh, you were a mentor now, Emmanuel, you're a mentor. The way you can mentor someone is to show them the way, but not to do it for them. If right now, if I mentor you, I should not feel a need to come there and control you, because I will need to show you the good and bad. Like for example, right, when Jesus was asking the disciple to pray for him, guess what? The disciple went a step. Again, Jesus came again. Why can't you guys wait for me a few hours or so what? So and all this kind of stuff. But then guess what? The disciple then slept. So did Jesus then went and force them to pray with him? No. But also one of the disciples came and asked Jesus, said, how should we pray? And Jesus told them the instruction A, B, and C. So you as a leader, and which is one of the bad things as well as we are, just say the African or Westerners or wherever ethnicity, sometimes we feel like when we are nourishing a tree or mentoring someone, we feel like there's a false conviction in our heart, or false entitlement that we feel like maybe we now own this person in a certain way, or if it's not us, then this person will not be successful. Rather than God will then, you need to present things to me and then let God deal with me. So controlling, the fact that controlling is there, I think shouldn't exist from the first place. If you teach me really well, you shouldn't control me. The second point here, that when it comes to corrections, of course, that if I'm mentoring someone, I need someone to share their opinion as well. Like if you have, some of you guys have done psychology, a person sent to me that you focus on that person's skills and capacity and ability to be able to decide what's wrong and what's right with them, or to be able to enhance their ability to do something, but not in a sense that where you can come and drive for them. Does it make sense? Like the Chinese proverb say, you don't have to give someone fish, but you can teach them how to fish. And then they go and find out. But then if that person come back to you again and said, hey, I fall here and there, then I will not rebuke them, but I'll say, okay, this might not be the right approach, but then also that I want you to see, what will you do better? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm just trying to deviate from the controlling parts of it, because that's what we do better. But then when it comes to the culture, what we're speaking about now, about toxic culture and attributive culture, I think we rather than not corrected or not to be perfect, but I'm just saying to put a different perspective. That's what I'm trying to say. I'll stop here.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah.
Good stuff. I think I really like what Dom shared with everything that you just mentioned. Because if you are in leadership and you wanna, let's say, encourage a person or correct them, it shouldn't always be about you controlling them, but rather looking at the person as a whole to bring the whole person out of them. I think we use a word, and we use this holistic. So you are looking after them mentally, you're looking after them spiritually, physically you're looking after them. If they're hungry and they need food, if they're sick, you're still looking after them. It's not just about you throwing in or coming in when it's only about your needs and what you want for yourself. So it was really good for Dom. It's really good to hear that the balance should be there. The balance should always be in that place. And even you in the receiving end, you that is receiving or the correction, or whether under leadership, you should always look at what this person is doing. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't see it from that place. We don't see how this is affecting us. But it would be good to always have time to reflect, to see how are you growing and what is the improvement happening in your life, whether under a church, under ministry, under a pastor, under leadership. Always sit down to reflect to see how are you improving. Are you actually improving, or are you working over time and being tired because you are only working for the benefit or for the specific agendas of this person that is in leadership or the ministry as a whole. So it's important to pay attention to these things, because this brings balance into our lives. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, and I want to give you guys closing remarks so you guys understand whole things that we're talking about. And the reason in our heart is that we believe that the church is the answer to the problems that the world is facing, and the church is the answer to that is able to change society one by one. The church is the one that's able to do that. And Jesus put the church, or build the church, so the church is able to do that. And that's what we want to see. We want to see a church that is able to impact people, because people are, what is church? Is people. And this toxic culture that we're talking about, it hurts people. It's actually against the vision that Jesus has for his people. It's actually damaging the flock of Christ, and it's damaging the work of God. And our heart, and why we're talking about this, is we want to see a church that's able to build people in the goodness that God has created this world for. God has, when he created the sun, he said it was good. When he created the moon, he said it was good. When he created the tree, he said it was good. When he was created the humans, Adam, he said it was very good. So that's what God wants us to be. We want to be a church that is able to show the goodness of God actually creating us for Yeah, that's my closing remark for everyone, and something that they should think about. Like, let's resist this toxic culture. Let's bring the goodness of God. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's good enough for us to go on to, eh? Yeah. Hey, but before we finish, Duam, I'll give you a chance as well to say anything you want to. If you have anything you want to say to the audience before we head off.
Oh yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for the discussion, and also thanks to you and Emmanuel. You guys have done really great conversation. This is to any leaders out there or any pastor out there. As it says in the book of Timothy 3:16-17, it says the word of God is there for rebuke, correction, and guidance. When we come here and speak about the bad culture, we don't mean anyone individually, or we're not talking about you personally. That's not the point at all. But the point here is there are some inherent issue, and there are some things that we need to make sure that we have a better and healthy church. And we must speak about such topic as this. So it's very important. In the next coming weeks, we will come out again and speak and also point out different discussion, different topics for different angles. So please continue watching us, continue to follow us. Don't cancel us, because we're here to help you. And if you wanted to join us, also want to be in part of audience or here in the video, in the studio, please feel free to come and follow us on our YouTube and Facebook as well. So I'll stop here. Thank you so much.
Canceling us would be toxic, eh?
Yeah. Shows your toxicness.
Yeah. But on that note, I think we've come to the end. Let me just send us off with a prayer. Father, we thank you for the discussions that we've had today. You've allowed us to touch on to various matters, various topics. I pray that you allow these truths that we've spoken of to touch the hearts of people and in such a way that it might transform their lives for the better. I pray for all the discussions that we're going to have in the future also, that you will continue to be with us. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you, guys.
Amen.
Hey, share this stuff, man. Damn. I feel like you feel me to hear this.
Yeah, let's share. And next week we're going to go probably part 2, because there's a few things that we haven't touched on.
We have like 6 more points, eh?
Yeah, I don't know about 6, but we did half, I think.
Half?
Yeah. So we did good. 4. I think we got 4 more to go. So please, if you like the conversation, we're going to be back again next week. I want you to invite someone and listen as well and ask us some questions, and let God bless you guys.
And if you have any feedback as well, comment down. We'd like to hear it.
Yeah, and correction too, yeah?
Yeah. Not controlling.
No controlling, just corrections.
All right. Thank you. See you next time.
All right, see ya.
Peace.